Good morning, and welcome to my very first professional StarCraft 2 replay analysis. This game is going to be DG Weebles, the red Terran player, against Vlair, the blue Protoss player, on the map Antigua Shipyards. Now, before we get into talking about this game too much, I just briefly want to talk about my YouTube channel. I've recently been noticing the certain lack of balance in the StarCraft 2 metagame. Not that anything's imbalanced, just Protoss players aren't seeming to play very well. And I just wanna start a channel that really it's devoted to the metagame of StarCraft 2. It's always going to be changing and focusing on different races and different strategies, and I want people to be able to come together and work together to work through things. I don't want people to look at the GSL Code S right now and scream that Terran's imbalanced and Protoss sucks. So, if we look at this game, we have Vlair, the blue Protoss, scouting very early, the correct direction, lucky for him, and he's going to see that his Terran opponent here, DG Weebles, let's just call him Weebles, is walling in. Oh, well, he's kind of walling in with a depot, and then not with his barracks. I wonder if... I don't know, but it could be that Vlair was random, and he became Protoss. I don't know. So maybe that's why he walled, maybe it's not. We're also seeing a gas geyser from the Terran player. This is indicative of almost anything. Almost every Terran build order involves barracks and then some sort of expansion, generally. But there are also those dreaded Banshee Tank Marine all-ins that very well could be seeing this game. I don't even know. So back in the Protoss player's base, we're seeing very standard play, Chrono boosting out his probes. I think his gas geyser was a little late. I'm pretty sure mine normally finishes before then. Getting his second pylon and his probes. Just in case you don't know the general opening build order for Protoss, you want to get your first pylon, your gateway, your gas geyser, your second pylon, while you're continually chrono boosting out your probes, and then your cybernetics core. And of course, scouting the whole time. My computer is lagging. I'm sorry. Anyway, if we look back at our Terran player, he got his Marine out, which of course forces this probe to just stay away. The probe can't really come back. And we're seeing a factory, the first major tech part on the Terran's path. And he's getting this factory and continuing to mine his gas. And even getting a second gas geyser. So this is pretty much showing that it's going to be Banshees. And the Protoss player actually gets in and scouts the factory. Did he see the second gas geyser? He didn't see the second gas. So he doesn't know that Banshees are coming, but he very well could think they are. So, we see Chrono Boost was saved up, almost to 100, because he Chrono Boosted both his Stalker and his Gateways, and now he's pretty low. So this is all completely standard from the Protoss. I'd really like to see him lay down an expansion right about now. He sees that this Marines and factory units are going to be made, or starport units, which it's definitely going to be a Banshee once these are lifted and switched. So the Protoss player knows that's coming out. Or at least he should. And when you know something like that, really, in my experience, it's easiest to hold off if you've gotten a 1-gate Nexus, a really, really fast expansion. It's just like how in Terran versus Zerg, when Terran used to always 2-rack Zerg every single game, even Zergs like Hydra would say it was easier to hold it off if you got that expansion first, because it's more larvae you get for Zerglings and you get creep spread. I really feel that as a Protoss player, it's easier to hold off that all-in if you got this expansion up really, really quickly. But, as it is, this right here is very good Stalker pressure. I'm just going to deny the bunker and just going to do as much damage as he can, and he's losing a little bit of health, but in general it's no big deal, not losing that much. And did he get to see the starport? He hasn't even seen, he didn't even see the factory finish. So he doesn't 100% know the Banshee's coming out, but it's safe to assume once you see a Terran who's pretty heavily one-basing, and you saw with that gas and a factory, it's safe to prepare for Banshees. So, it doesn't look like there's going to be any cloak. Normally you want to get cloak before you start making your Banshee, if you're the Terran player. And yeah, he's definitely not getting cloak, because he's also getting siege tanks. So this is pretty definitively a siege tank Marine Banshee all-in. More than likely. That's what it's going to be. And the Protoss player has his observer in the Terran's base. This is my favorite part about playing Protoss, when you just get to slip your observer in there and see everything about the Terran build. Now, I don't really like this. He's pulling his observer back, even though he had the observer in the base, and he saw one Banshee. He knew the Banshee was there, and he also saw the tech lab. He saw the tech lab was not researching cloak, and yet he still pulled back his observer, when he could have just left his observer in the main and scouted what was happening there, because he should have known that cloak wasn't coming. And even if it was, he could just chrono boost out another observer. There's nothing wrong with having two observers. But instead he decided to pull it back, and for all he knows, the Terran could be pushing right now. And a Banshee with 1 kill, I think that's the least number of kills I've ever seen a Banshee get that wasn't driven by the best Voyu. Now, I do have to apologize to Vlair just a little bit, even though he pulled his observer back. He does have this probe here, so he would know if he's getting pushed, but I still personally would have left my observer in his base, just to be able to see all his production facilities and see if he's making a command center, because that is important. Now, Vlair is teching up to his Colossus. Colossus can be really, really good at holding off this all-in that's coming. I find that Blink Stalkers also work really well. You can blink around and target Banshees while they're pushing out, because all those Terran units kind of move at different speeds, so it's really easy for them to get out of position. And if they do get out of position, even for just a second, Blink Stalkers are so fast that they can really punish a Terran for that. And at the same time, you can get out Immortals so that once all the Banshees are gone, your Immortals and Zealots can really get into the tank fire. But Vlair is choosing to go the Colossus route, which also can work. The Colossus hits the Marines while the Zealots get up close to them, and really the Zealots' damage that they deal is the tank splash damage. They don't do very much of their own damage. And then Vlair is going to use his Stalkers to target down the Banshees. But I'm a little frightened for him, because he only has 4 Stalkers against 3 Banshees, and really you just need more than that. You want at least 2 Stalkers for every Banshee, otherwise it's going to be really difficult to hold. And Vlair sees this coming. He shouldn't be all too surprised by Weebles here. Oh, that's not good control. The Banshee should really not be out in front like that. That's actually kind of textbook on how to not control your Banshees. But, oh well. This is a really good video to show how to hold off this push as a Protoss player, because it's pretty simple. You can turtle on one base and just get out your Colossus, and that'll hold it really easily. Although, it feels, to me when you do this, it feels desperate. In every game I've played, you can really get out a 1-gate Nexus and be perfectly safe against a Banshee Marine tank all-in. You just have to be really careful about the units you make. But this is a good position for the Protoss player. There's nothing really the Terran can do to punish him, because the Protoss is simply getting stronger units. Sure, the Terran has siege tanks, and then he also has Marines, and the Marines just die so easily, and once they're gone, the siege tanks just get evaporated by Zealots. And here Vlair is expanding. Always good. A 12.5-minute expansion